Hey, you guys. Listen, I just needed to just get some of this off my chest, out of my head, because I'm livid. Um, and it's really just about the whole situation, right? So this year started off normal, and it ended with us feeling like we're in a communist country. That's literally how this year has felt for content creators, for people in the media. We literally feel like we just went to go live in communist Russia. Okay, I cannot believe I cannot believe what's happened, and I also can't believe two other things. Number one, how many people don't know, and number two, how easily people have given up and given in. Okay, so so let's just go back to February, right? February. First, we hear our leaders saying that there's no reason to worry about our current health crisis, right? No reason to worry. Nothing to worry about at all. Go hang out in Chinatown. Everything's gonna be fine. Okay. Then a month later, their stories completely change. All right. The person who used his brain and shut our borders is demonized and basically has had to take the blame for the entire episode going forward. Okay, he recommended the borders should be closed when other policymakers said that we should go out and have a good time. Okay, then March rolls around. Everybody's freaking out. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what to expect. People are being sent home to work at home. People are being sent home to just not work at home to lose their jobs. Okay, and there's this crazy problem lurking in the air, right? Okay, then fast forward to July, June, July, uh, August. And we notice, okay, yes, the news is really going hard on this. They're talking about it every single hour of every day. We have a death clicker in front of us of how many people purportedly have died, all right? But not a whole lot of us actually know anyone who suffered from this current health crisis, all right? But what we have realized is for the 10 of us that are researching what's going on, whatever we offer to the public as means to help is taken down unless it's something that was sent out from the mainstream media. Everything else, absolutely everything else, is not allowed, right? In the very beginning, we're like, okay, well, maybe they're really being hard on us because we really don't know what it is, and we don't want people to take this, lightly. We want them to take this seriously. So if we start, sharing conspiracy theories, then some people might do stupid stuff, like drink out of an aquarium of bleach, right? Okay. Then going forward, the restrictions never soften. Okay. Anytime you mention alternative drugs, remedies, those are immediately shut down. Immediately. Okay. If you talk about certain whistleblowers, shut down. Okay? And it doesn't stop there. All of a sudden, the censorship tilts, at least for the ones who just woken up to this problem. I've heard about this, but I've never witnessed it myself. I've never been a victim of it myself. Okay? The conservative platforms are just nipped. They're either deplatformed, demonetized, or utterly banned. Okay? So now we've switched from health information that's contrary to mainstream thought to conservative information that's contrary to mainstream thought to the White House press secretary and a state senator and even the president being censored. Okay? And then we have this crazy situation of nobody knowing who's elected legally right now. 2020 has literally been on its head since February. And I, for one, feel like I'm no longer living in a free country. Because if you say, literally, if you ask the CEOs of Twitter, if you ask the CEO of Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, okay, if you could provide a list, which for some reason they have no problem finding out where you are and what platforms you're on, but for some reason they have a hard time pulling together information about our platforms, right? So if you ask Twitter and Facebook and YouTube to pull a list of all the content that was censored, right, and you did a comparison of the news of the recommendations of the trending topics on the conservative platforms, right? Nothing nefarious, nothing like, oh, let's organize a crowd to, burn down a Wendy's, which was approved, I heard on Twitter, okay? Um, yeah, even if you're just talking about ideas, right? More right wing idea platforms were targeted for removal, for demonetization, for fact checking, right? Okay. The list would be so crammed with conservatives being targeted for information. Lila Rose's pro life videos were slid under the pornographic category for, of all places, Pinterest. Pinterest ties Lila Rose's pro life website as porn. Okay? This is what I'm talking about. So, and then for these platforms, not to just not, admit it, but to be even reluctant to say under oath that they'll pull any such list that would hold it. In other words, it's so obvious how much they've been targeting people on the right that they can't show this information. Not only are they gonna have to deny it in court, but they can't even show this information. Okay? I don't understand. And the other thing I don't understand is how easily we've just given up our rights, right? Okay, so when this whole health crisis started, it started up in February, right? Everybody's panicked. We don't know what's going on. We don't know how harmful, the situation might be. And we're just waiting. We're waiting on information. We're waiting on people, to give us stats, who's really suffering, what places are hardest hit, what kind of health, like measures can you take to protect yourself, XYZ. Okay. Then a whole year, we're practically a year into this, goes by. And we basically have information now. We have data. Okay. And the data that's coming back is not backing up all the restrictions that are still in place. And that's something that needs to be answered. Okay. Um, when this situation started, yes, people were panicked. What the mainstream media did was they made sure we stayed panicked. 8, 9, 10 months later, they're making sure that we stay panicked. Over what? Okay? Fact checkers on Facebook, okay, say that our immune system is 99.87% equipped, okay? 99.87% capable of defeating the pathogen of this said health crisis, okay? And the injections that are being mass produced right now are 95% effective, according to what I've been introduced to. This is all in my opinion, YouTube gods, okay? This is my opinion that the reports that I have been encountering are saying these things, okay? So, what I'm hearing is that my immune system is more effective at protecting myself from certain pathogens, in particular health crises, than manufactured medication, okay? If that is the case, why am I getting excited about manufactured medications? Why am I getting excited about all these progresses made on Operation Warp Speed? That has nothing to do with me. I'm okay. Okay. But what they've done is they created a situation of panic and fear so that people will say, okay, the way that I can stop being afraid is by taking on medication that isn't even as effective, in my opinion, as my own immune system. That's how I'll handle this, okay? That's insane, but it's called psychological warfare, and this is what we are being victims of at this point in time. And I need people to understand this because that is the easiest way to manipulate, maneuver, and control. And even a lot of leftists have come out and said this, that elites love lockdowns because it puts them at the top. It helps them be in more control, okay? And I don't know if any of you guys are history buffs, but we are literally repeating history, okay? Before World War II was the Spanish flu. People were locked down. Actually, in this country, riots happened. Guess what the riots were over? Race. People didn't want to stay inside, so they all jumped on board and started rioting over race issues of all things. Then you know what happened? The freaking Great Depression. That is literally where we're at because businesses cannot operate. We are being shut down for, in my opinion, no apparent reason. Okay? And yet, no one's saying anything. It's like we're not allowed to use common sense. Obviously, we're not allowed to use platforms. Okay? Obviously. But now we're not even allowed to use our own brains. All right, and I think half the country needs to wake up and the other half of the country needs to do something. And the entire country needs to step up because we're no longer going to be living in a free country anymore. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's not going to be the USA.